This week I am having a lot of fun because in this video I'm showing you the ins and outs of my new bandsaw mill. Dun, 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 dun. To give you a brief recap of my milling history, I've used my first chainsaw mill back in 2018, which was the Grandberg system. It got me excited and hooked on milling in the first place. It wasn't long after that I wanted more capacity and started exploring bandsaw mills. So that in 2019 I built the Matt Cremona mill with Matt and two of our friends. It has a 6-foot cutting capacity and is currently housed safely under an awning at my commercial building called the Woodshed. We use this for any logs that are over 36 inches cut capacity, such as this large heritage oak saved from the Austin landfill. Then in 2020, I added a Logosol portable chainsaw mill to the lineup. This is a huge upgrade from the Grandberg system in the chainsaw mill category, and would give me a way to take a mill to the logs rather than always having to bring the logs to my bandsaw mill. If you're interested in that review, I have left you a link down in the description. This mill can handle up to a 27.5-inch diameter log. You would think, as I did at that time, that my mill lineup was complete. However, I found myself in situations where there was still plenty of logs under that 27.5-inch capacity, but then a few that I was having to leave behind because they were over it. This led me to look at a bandsaw mill that had a larger cut capacity. This one is 36 inches, but also gave me the option of portability. This Logosol mill has a trailer package, so when I get a call on trees, I now either have the option of going to grab the logs and bringing them back to the woodshed to slab up, or I can deploy the chainsaw mill and bandsaw mill to slab the trees on site. Let's first cover the portability aspect. You can buy the rails in the mill without the trailer package, to where it just has stationary feet and wherever you put it is where it stays. Or you can buy it with the trailer package, of course giving you the option to pick up the legs, put it on your tail hitch, and then tote it wherever you're going. After I first put it together, I was curious to see if a single person could move it, and go figure, you can. For the first test run, me and my team used the buggy to haul it around back where I store the logs. This is a huge pile of pecan. Dave and I spent 3 days hauling to the woodshed to save from getting cut up and burned. If I had the mill at the time, we would have just hauled it to the house and slabbed everything on site. The mill is very easy to maneuver into place, even with something as small as a UTV. Once in location, it is quick and easy to drop the legs down with the pull of a pin. I recommend always carrying a level to location so that you can span it across the rails and along them to make adjustments. Each leg has an easy adjustment where a ratchet can be used to raise or lower the leg. To keep the mill still while in transit, Logosol has included locking features for the carriage. This plate can quickly be removed, which, when in place, keeps the carriage from moving along the rails. Then to keep the up and down position locked, there's a bolt that goes through an inner locking feature. I personally wear a respirator when milling. This stealth mask is not only comfortable, but stops 99.99% of dust particles. It also has a breathing valve that stops glasses from fogging up. Now let's go ahead and cover the features. This mill can cut 39.25-inch diameter logs, and the length of the standard trailer is just over 16 feet. However, keep in mind that the length can always be added to extend it out further. The railing system is intentionally designed with the weight of the logs in mind and will not bend under its load. One of my favorite features is the easy and precise height adjustment Logosol has created. It all happens with a turn of the handle on the push bar. It's set up to turn in different increments so that you can adjust by 1/8 an inch for the curve, 1/4 inch, or a full turn, which is always going to be 1 inch exactly. There is a scale that keeps track of your turns and adjustments. On the scale is a red slidable button that keeps track of your last cut as well, so that as you adjust things up, it moves it along. If you adjust things down, you simply reach forward and place it against the arrow. Then on your next cut, it'll be your guide so you don't have to rely on your memory. For lubricating the cuts, there is a built-in holding tank that you can simply fill with water from a hose. Then plastic tubes that run to the side of the spinning blade. Over on the side, you'll find a sight gauge so that you can easily see when it's getting low and needs refilling. To turn the system on, you just have to flip a switch here. You can quickly adjust the flow by sliding the tube further in or out from the built-in pinch zone. Simple, but effective. Tensioning the blade is also very simple. Instead of having to carry a blade tensioning gauge, you can just open up the blade guard, and right on the inside is an arrow that indicates where a red line should line up for the blade to have proper tension. To make an adjustment, turn the T-handle clockwise to advance the red line or counterclockwise to relieve it. You can see that the blade guard can be held up on its own with this nice feature here that captures it when you push it up. To release it, you just push it up slightly until the hook slides out of the way. Then the quick latches hold everything securely once again. Savvy things like this are sprinkled all over the mill. The rails have stops built in that also have a hook catch, so you can't roll it off the rails, but you can keep it up against one side. On the front of the carriage, running along the rails, there are 4 HDPE sweeps that keep the rail clear as you're cutting logs. And even though it doesn't add function, I love the subtle Swedish flag built into the carriage so it proudly waves as it's working. Now, the saw is powered by a 23 horsepower Briggs & Stratton gas engine and operates like any other engine, where it has a choke. You can pull it out when you're first getting it started, then push it in and let it run. A throttle cable is routed from the engine over to the push handle, so as you're pushing through a log, you have all the control right under your 4 fingers. The carriage moves incredibly smooth over the rails, which is a big testament to the material choice of Logosol. But it's also credited to how good of a job you put in during the setup stage, which I suppose we can cover next. The carriage is shipped as a complete unit, then the trailer is shipped in parts that you assemble. When it first arrived, I used a chain hoist around a beam in my ceiling to hoist it slightly up, then drove out from under it to lower it down to the ground. It does weigh a few hundred pounds, so while a few strong people could lift it up, I would recommend pulling in a chain hoist or piece of equipment. It took me 2 days to put together the trailer. Since it's mobile, I went ahead and built it indoors to take advantage of the climate control, but also the big flat floor. If you do this, just make sure you have a doorway large enough to get it out after it's assembled. I am not one for enjoying assembling machines. I love to use them, but not put them together. However, Logosol is just so impressive with their engineering. I found myself loving the savvy thought process put into the details. It's the same way I felt when assembling the chainsaw mill. It's very clear as Logosol products are going together that it's well thought out and intended to be excellent. Once the main bed was assembled, I hopped on my forklift and with the help of David and a few straps, set the entire thing directly on the rails. If you don't have a forklift, then again, I recommend a chain hoist. After the carriage is in place, it can be secured to the rails. Then the other items can quickly be added on, such as the engine, throttle handle, and belt. Now, there are a few accessories you can purchase to add onto your mill, such as the log handling package. This comes with 2 steel ramps to aid getting the logs up on the bed, as well as an onboard winch and rollers. The process for getting a log up would be to place the ramps as squarely to the winch as possible, then wrap the can hook around the log, then attach it back to the trailer. The winch comes with 2 speeds, so you can go slower but have an easier time at pulling it up, or faster and have slightly harder time. Either one isn't beyond me to pull up a log, so that should give you an idea on how easy it is. The log will continue to roll up until it's found itself on the bed. Then the hook can be stowed away until the next use. The winch arm itself comes with a pin to keep it in one of 2 positions, up when needing to be used, or when the mill is being transported, or down at an angle to be pushed out of the way when you're actually milling. If you're like me and like to make a face cut and then flip the log over, the log handling package also comes with roller attachments that can be inserted so that after you make the face cut, you can use the winch to flip the log over as well as these rollers. You can keep them high enough to engage with the log, and you can see here how effective it is. Then the use is a lot of the same until the log is sawn through. Set the thickness of your slab by using the onboard height call out, then push the carriage forward. When getting to the end, I use the handle to slightly lift up the blade to keep it from running into the log, but then return the carriage to the start. Lower it down by the wanted amount, and then push it forward again, and again, and again. I typically keep all of the slabs on the mill, but this day I was excited to see the inside of these salvaged pecan logs and also give you guys a glimpse inside. The first peek inside of a log is by far the best part of milling. You just never know what sort of surprise character is going to be hidden within. Now let's cover log clamping. One side of the bed has steel posts that can be adjusted up and down to catch the log. The blade rotates this way, which will pull the log into these posts. Don't forget to adjust the height of these down as you're chomping through your log. It is very simple to forget. I might be speaking from experience. In addition to the post, Logosol has these really ingenious cam locks that fit into the cross sections of the bed to clamp the log into place. If you need a clamp, you just need to use the cam to wedge it up against the log snugly, then use the locking feature to hold its position. You can use these on the other side to press the log into the steel post, or if you have a curved log, then placing a cam lock on both sides is a great way to hold it in the middle of the bed instead of up against one of the side posts. That was a lot of information. I really hope I haven't left anything off. In my opinion, there are so many cool features on this mill. And having such a great quality piece of equipment just makes the process of milling that much more fun. If you've been looking at getting a portable bandsaw mill, then I definitely recommend this one. I've been to Sweden and have met the Logosol team in person and was impressed with their mindset, their work ethic, and dedication to producing quality products while cultivating people's passion for milling. I have personally been to Sweden and met the Logosol team and was beyond impressed with their mindset, their work ethic, and their dedication to producing a quality product while cultivating people's passion for milling. If you're interested in buying a bandsaw mill, then you're more than welcome to stop by the woodshed and see mine in person. I'd be happy to walk you through it. It's also worth noting that I carry the Logosol chainsaw mills as well as a room full of slabs if you're not interested in milling yourself, but just interested in the byproducts. I really hope that you have found this video informative, and I've linked to everything down in the description if you want to check out my other reviews, what I'm currently doing at the woodshed or Logosol. So I will see you on whatever I'm working on next, guys. If you are looking for some great sawhorse plans, then I have a link for you right here for this one, as well as 2 other variations. This one's cheap, it's sturdy, it's very quick to put together, and the thing that I like the best is that it's foldable. And it's collapsible.